Every pony. It's Brony Joe here. Sorry for the weakening in my voice. Y'all better be happy because I'm trying to do the icing, but I keep on failing because of it. And now my throat hurts. But I'm going to try and read this story for you guys. That's all I got to say. Oh, there it is. There's my boy. There. Okay, but my throat still hurts. I'm gonna read the story for you guys. Chapter 16. The River. Fluttershy and Rainbow Dash giggled while they ran. Fluttershy may not have been the best of them at athletics, but she was the second. She could run nearly as fast as Rainbow Dash and jump nearly as high too. As they ran, Rainbow Dash realized how big of a friend Fluttershy was to her. She wouldn't do anything to hurt her, and she knew it. She was a nice girl. She wouldn't betray. Suddenly, Fluttershy stopped and Rainbow Dash stopped shortly after and raised an eyebrow. "What's up?"
I have to go. Bye,"
she said quickly before running off in the opposite direction. "What?" Rainbow Dash wondered. "I guess it gives me some time to see Spike." She began to run towards Twilight and Spike's house. When she arrived, she saw Fluttershy entering. She became curious. What were Fluttershy and Twilight doing? She walked to the door and slipped in. Twilight wasn't anywhere to be seen, but Fluttershy was going upstairs and quickly hid against the wall, so she was out of Fluttershy's vision. But when Fluttershy had gone upstairs, she sneaked up after. "What is she doing here?" she asked herself. She kept her feet pressed against the edge of the staircase so it wouldn't creak. Finally, she made it upstairs and pressed her ear against Twilight's room. Silence. Rainbow Dash opened the door quietly and to see a sleeping Twilight and no Fluttershy. She became even more puzzled. Where was Fluttershy? She closed Twilight's door quietly when she heard a whimper. Did that come from Spike's room? "Fluttershy?" She heard Spike's muscular voice say. "What?" she said quickly but quietly. Hurrying over to Spike's door, she pressed her ear against it. Nearly the door and heard the rustling of clothes. She heard Fluttershy's light voice giggling. Hopefully, he didn't have a loud door. Rainbow Dash opened to see what was going on. Well, half of what was going on. She could see Spike. She saw delicate hands reach up the tears Spike's shirts off. Rainbow Dash quickly gasped. Tears filled her eyes as she watched. He turned around and Fluttershy was pressed against the wall, just in yellow lacy underwear. You could see her tattoo, the only one she would ever have, the 3 butterflies. Spike's muscular hands reached and ripped the lacy underwear from her, and the bra soon followed. Rainbow Dash gasp became loud, and she stumbled back, the floor creaking under her steps. She loudly ran down the stairs and eventually slammed her way out of the house. She ran, tears streaming down her face. "How could they?" she said before running even further. She ran and ran, her rainbow hair flowing back behind her until she arrived at the lake. She didn't slow down. When she got to a certain point, her feet left in the ground and jumped. Once she hit the ground, she began running again. She wouldn't stop until she calmed down. She didn't care what it took her as long as she calmed down. How could Fluttershy and Spike do that to her? She loved Spike. She even loved Fluttershy like a sister. She suddenly fell to her knees and burst into tears. This wouldn't be solved by running. That was she supposed to do. What was she supposed to do? She looked up and noticed an old woman. She was staring at Rainbow Dash. Can I help you, dear? She asked in an old, kind voice. Why would you be able to help me? Rainbow Dash snapped. The woman's eyes suddenly turned mean. Well, you're on my land, so either you get off of my land, or you tell me what are you doing, she said, glaring at Rainbow Dash. Got up and walked to her knees. Got off the old bitch's land. When she exited it, she fell to her knees again. Tears began to leak out, and she crawled over the lake, where she jumped completely clothed. Where she jumped in completely clothed. She dived under the water. She stayed there for 5 whole minutes, holding her breath. She began getting lightheaded. She knew she'd pass out soon, but probably would, and most probably die. But the idea wasn't unappealing to seem as if it would come to true in her dreams. Yet it was so close to becoming real. Her life slipping away from her. Suddenly, a hand grabbed her shoulder and pulled her up. She coughed water as she was laid on the riverbank. Her eyes closed, conscienceless, and slipping away from her. Pinkie slammed the door open and walked straight in. Her hair straight and angry expression on her face. Her pace wouldn't slow as she walked towards Spike and lifted her hand, whacking it around his face. He turned back to her, a shocked expression on his face. She glared at him. You fucking idiot! She snapped. What did I do? He said, his eyes widened. What did you do? What did you do? Have you not been wondering who you're supposed to love, where you're supposed love is? She screamed. Spike gasped. Where's Rainbow Dash? He asked. Pinkie growled. In the hospital. Again. She tried to drown herself, idiot, Pinkie said before turning off and walking away. Well, everybody, that's it for now. That's all I got with the story for y'all. And we've got one thing to say. Spike, you're a fucking dumbass. That's all I gotta fucking say. Spike's a fucking dumbass for doing that to Dashie. I almost cried, man. I almost cried! When I read the story the first time, I almost cried. Yes, I have read the story before, but it takes me a while just to perfect the saying. So if I were to, say it like completely fluent without messing up, it'd possibly have to take about a day worth reading it. So yeah. But Spike, you're a fucking idiot. That's all I gotta fucking say. So yeah, peace out, every pony. I'll see you later.